The Gondolier'S Melody. The Silent Pupil, Venice, 1958. The small, sun-drenched balcony of the old palazzo on the Rio della Senza was Giulia's open-air classroom. Below, the water of the narrow, quieter canal was the color of faded jade, reflecting the cracked plaster of the buildings. In 1958, Venice was bursting with life, and Giulia, a language tutor with a sharp mind and an even sharper command of grammar, earned her living teaching Italian to English and American tourists. Giulia's lessons were precise. She drilled her pupils on conjugations, gendered nouns, and the tricky nuances of the subjunctive mood. Her favorite lesson was on pronunciation, where she would lean over the stone railing, articulating the rolled R with crisp, theatrical precision. Her most consistent, if accidental, student was Marco, a gondolier whose usual route carried him beneath her window every day at the same time. Marco was a man built for the water, tall and fluid, guiding his long black boat with an almost lazy mastery. He never interrupted the lessons, but as he stood on the stern, propelling his passengers, his dark eyes would flick up to the balcony, catching Giulia's movements. He was the perfect silent pupil. He didn't learn the words from her, but the rhythm of the language. He learned her moods. When she was frustrated with a tourist's pronunciation, her voice became clipped. When she was happy teaching a word like gioia, joy, her tone would swell. He loved the sound of her voice more than the silence of the canals. The lesson in desire. Marco knew that words were not enough to capture the feeling that had begun to pool in his chest every time he heard her voice. He, a man whose whole life was sung in the physical poetry of the pharaoh, prow, slicing through water and the push of the remo, or needed a bigger vocabulary than simple nouns and verbs. One sweltering afternoon, Giulia was teaching a group of 3 elderly American women. The topic was desire, how to articulate a deep, heartfelt longing that went beyond simple want. The word is desiderio, Giulia explained, carefully stressing the syllables. It is deeper than volere. It is a profound wish, a yearning that pulls you across oceans. It is a dangerous word, ladies, because it is the grammar of the heart. Just as she finished the sentence, Marco's gondola, carrying a silent German couple, slid out from under the adjacent bridge. He was perfectly positioned beneath her balcony. He stopped rowing. The gondola drifted to a halt, and the only sound was the gentle lapping of water against the stone. He looked up at Giulia, ignoring his passengers entirely. His eyes, usually distant, were fixed on hers. Then Marco drew a deep breath and began to sing. It wasn't a popular tourist tune. It was a full, complex Venetian ballad of love, a barcarolle meant for the deep, moonlit lagoon. His voice, usually reserved for the soft calls of warning and navigation, was rich, powerful, and utterly exposed. He sang of the light that shone from a high window, of the yearning that lived in the water, and of the heart that had finally found its melody. When the last sustained note faded, silence returned, broken only by the astonished whispers of the German tourists. Giulia, usually so articulate, was wordless. She stood frozen on the balcony, clutching her textbook. Marco, still looking up at her, offered a simple, heartfelt explanation, a phrase that was both poetically profound and perfectly suited to her profession. "Your lessons taught me the words, Giulia, but my heart provided the grammar," the quiet vow. Giulia descended the stairs quickly, not waiting for the German couple to disembark. She met Marco on the fondamenta, canal walkway. She didn't ask him why he had waited years to speak, or why he chose a public ballad over a quiet conversation. She only asked him to sing the song again just for her. He did, and their future was sealed in that melody. The wedding, 6 months later, was a true Venetian affair, an event of quiet, waterborne elegance that the whole neighborhood was invested in. Marco's gondolier family, a proud, tight-knit collective, had been witness to their unusual courtship and insisted on conducting the procession. The ceremony was held in the small church of Madonna dell'Orto, but the true event began afterward. As the evening fell, the canals around the church were cleared. The lantern procession. At dusk, Marco and Giulia emerged to find the canal alight, not with electric power, but with soft, yellow, flickering light. Marco's fellow gondoliers had organized a spectacular farewell to their single life, a procession led by 20 silent gondolas. Every boat was draped in black cloth and In lieu of loud music or extravagant flowers, each carried only a single flickering lantern. They glided forward in perfect, breathtaking synchronization, their polished iron prows reflecting the dim light in the dark water. Marco helped Giulia step into his own gondola, which was placed at the front of the line. As he pushed off, the entire procession followed, moving with a silent, deliberate grace through the ancient waterways. The sight was mesmerizing, 20 tiny points of light, moving across the glass-smooth surface of the canals, guiding the happy couple toward their new life. The silence was the greatest blessing. It allowed the water to whisper their vows and let the light illuminate the sincerity of their commitment. Their love became known in the quiet corners of the city as the Gondolier'S Melody, the triumph of passion over protocol, forever remembered as the wedding night when the windows of Venice watched a procession led by love's own quiet, faithful light.